Hello, welcome to the Florida Peanut Podcast. I'm Noah Walker with all things visual marketing. And to my left in studio, we have the fearless leader of the Florida Peanut Federation, Laura Fowler-Goss, who's the executive director of the Florida Peanut Federation. And joining us today, we have two members of the Dixie County High FFA membership, Miss Jadie Driggers and Kylah Wright, who are joining us in honor of FFA Week. And today, our topic with them is growing up in FFA. So welcome, ladies. Miss Jadie and Miss Kylah, can you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been in FFA, or your experience with FFA, or your position in FFA, and
he likes to say FFA.
Yeah, FFA. Tell us a fun fact about yourself that doesn't include FFA.
All right. I'm Jadie Driggers. I am the president of the Dixie FFA chapter, and I recently went on a family trip to Iowa where I killed my second buck.
My name is Kylah Wright, and I am the secretary of the Dixie FFA chapter. This year I'm showing my first steer at the Florida State Fair.
Awesome.
Is that a competition? Will you be showing and winning?
I guess we'll have to see.
Nice.
So here's a question. Can you all name the second most famous ever member of the Dixie FFA?
I don't believe that I can.
Oh, is it you?
We started this
Who's the
podcast.
most famous?
Rob Hatch was the first state officer ever from Dixie FFA. They nod their heads because they know this. And now he is a very incredible songwriter. He been in Nashville for 20-something years. He writes a lot of very popular country songs and heck of a great guy. You talk about moral character and handsomeness and class and grace. That guy's got it. But I'll take second place.
He edged you out for first place. Well, good. Somebody's gonna keep you humble, Laura. All right. Well, how long, Miss Jadie and Miss Kylah, how long have you guys been in FFA, and where did you guys get started with the organization?
So I joined FFA in 6th grade. I started showing pigs in my 5th grade, so I was in 4-H. But going to the middle school, we passed a table at open house, and me and my mom, we kind of talked about it, and we decided that FFA might be the next step for me. So that's how I joined. That's how I got here. Both my parents were very active. My dad was actually a sub-district officer, and we were just very into the agriculture industry outside of FFA. So I had already been submersed in some of that. So that's kind of how I got my start.
Awesome.
Nice. And what grade are you in now, Jadie? So you started in 6th grade. What grade are you in now?
I'm an 11th grader. I'm a junior.
Nice.
Awesome.
So 5 to 6 years that you've been in FFA. Incredible.
Kylah, when did you join?
I joined in the 7th grade. Growing up, I had always knew that I wanted to be in the FFA, and whenever I got to middle school, I finally got the chance.
I love that.
What grade are you in, Kylah?
I'm also in 11th grade.
Nice.
To think that you were excited to join before you did, I think that's really cool.
For sure.
That's really cool.
Sure. So having been in FFA that long, what are some things that you guys have done that you're particularly proud of that you've achieved through FFA?
So one of the things I'm particularly proud of is my people skills, because without FFA, I would not be sitting here where I am right now. As an 8th grader, I was elected as our chaplain of our middle school FFA chapter. And I was just totally and completely terrified of having to speak in front of people or being in front of a crowd. I begged my parents to let me quit FFA. I was going to go back to 4-H, but I stuck with it. And now I have just got done presiding over our sub-district competition last month. And it's just something I'm really, really proud of, to being able to be here talking in front of you.
Blossomed. Yes. Congratulations. That's actually a tremendous achievement.
What about you, Kylah? What are you particularly proud of that you've achieved in FFA?
Definitely my speaking skills. I went from barely being able to answer questions in class to being able to do this. And also we did our Model of Excellence Award presentation, and we had to talk for 15 minutes to a panel of judges for the national competition in August, and that was definitely something I am proud of.
That's intense. That's something that on a business experience level that not many people will ever have to experience. So that is great experience, great high level experience that you
Huge.
got. Incredible.
Good job,
Yeah,
Bruce.
well done.
That's one of my favorite things to say when I promote FFA is that, anybody can become a speaker and a leader if they are willing to take part in FFA. It certainly doesn't come naturally, but it's easy to gain those skills and build upon them year after year of membership. So good job to y'all. Very good.
So those are huge achievements that you've achieved through the organization. What is something that you've been able to experience that you wouldn't otherwise have without FFA?
We definitely would not have the opportunity to travel places like we have. We've been to Indiana, Texas, even just a simple state convention, national convention, which is in Indiana. All the different stops we made up there and on the way back for 2 different years. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's being able to stop at like a Clydesdale farm on the way to Indiana, which is not something you see around here in Florida. It was up in Georgia, and their production was just massive. It was really cool to see. We also stopped at an alpaca farm, which is not something we see every day at all. And we got to see how these people make a life for themselves doing something that is definitely not well known or well pursued after.
Right. Were either of you guys inspired by some of these stops to grow? I mean, because Clydesdales are huge animals.
Seriously.
Are either of you guys going to go into farming, I guess, on the exotic side of the ag industry?
I may look into Clydesdales, but I don't think the alpacas are for me.
Good.
Definitely not.
And kudos to the people that organize those trips, because there's a lot to see in, I don't know, 15 hours worth of travel to take a couple of days and do those things. That's really incredible on the part of the planners.
Some practical education.
And to see the things that you don't see around home, and if you're traveling on vacation, you don't stop at alpaca farm.
Right. So what are the places that you guys said that you've been able to go in Indianapolis, right?
Yes, sir.
And Texas A&M University for a horse judging clinic. That was really, really cool. We were able to see that there are colleges other than the ones we're pushed to go to here in Florida, like UF and FSU, and then like the smaller community colleges. It was just really nice to see that there are places elsewhere that have just as much of an opportunity for us.
Very cool. Did you get to spend some time on the campus there? I've not been, but I hear it's beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful. So actually we got to do a scavenger hunt that took up most of the campus, and some of the people on the judging team actually led us through so they wouldn't get lost, because some of us are directionally challenged.
All of us
All of us.
that went on the trip.
It was definitely really, really cool to see all the different things that they have at this campus.
That's fantastic.
Directionally challenged is a very political term. Well done. Well done navigating
Do it down,
that.
Noah.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about some of the people that you've been able to meet through FFA.
So we actually went ice skating one of the nights we were in Indiana for National FFA convention. And while we were packing up to leave, we met a group from Puerto Rico. And that was just one of the most educational meets I've ever had with someone. We learned about their agricultural industry, which is mainly coffee beans. We learned about their different SAEs that they have within their chapter, and they actually invited us to come out to their chapter in Puerto Rico to see some of the
We're gonna chaperone.
Yeah, I would love to chaperone and visit a couple of coffee farms. Coffee farms are high elevation, beautiful places. Would love to lose myself on a coffee.
Let's go.
We
Great.
even
Tell us a little bit more about that. So you were ice skating with them. You guys traded some agriculture industry knowledge. What did they learn from you? What were you guys teaching them?
So we were able to teach them some of the things we have here in Florida, like our peanuts, and then our watermelon farms and stuff like that we have that are pretty local. Just stuff that they don't have in Puerto Rico. And it was just really, really cool to just exchange information and knowledge. And we both groups walked away with some new things.
Jadie, that makes me want to go to National Convention and set up a booth and have like speed dating, Noah, except for like information exchange.
Speed networking, I think this
To qualify to go to the Florida table, you can't live in Southern Georgia or South Alabama. You have to be like 1,000 miles or greater distance between each other to speed network.
Yeah.
That is truly one of the great things about something like National Convention is that there are people from 50 states and 2 territories, and you can happen upon them sitting next to them at a workshop or in the session or at the ice skating rink. It's very, very cool, the relationships that you can form.
And culturally, Puerto Rico might be one of the farthest or the most different, I would say, within the U.S. and the territories that you could experience. So that's well done on attracting difference. Experiencing that difference and doing some cultural trade there in exchange of information. That's very mature. What other great life lessons have you learned through FFA that you wouldn't have otherwise?
So during the infamous COVID pandemic, when we were all sent home for quarantine, we went for spring break and never came back to school, but FFA was still happening. So the competitions that were going on at that time were obviously put on hold for a little while, but Florida FFA found a way to overcome and adapt from that. And they set up virtual competitions. So that meant we were going back to school. We spread out in our ag classroom at the middle school to practice for these competitions. And then we actually took them virtually, which was something completely new to all of us, including our advisor. So it was just some adaptations that we had to learn to make. How to take something that was always done one way and have to figure out how to do it a new way.
I love that creativity and innovation, and let's say necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that, to have those creative thinking, problem solving skills and apply it to real world experiences, because there were 50-year-old businessmen who could not figure out life. And so it's huge
to continue and
the girls and their peers have overcome what would have otherwise been a tremendous obstacle. And not only that, but an easy excuse to lay in your sweatpants and watch SpongeBob SquarePants.
Quit life as is. Yeah, no, well done, girls.
Job.
That you got through that. Quick question for you, since this is growing up in FFA and the opportunities, I want to know how you guys continue to grow through, whether it's through FFA or the knowledge that you've learned in FFA. What are your plans going forward?
We are planning coming up. We're going on a high school leadership conference. That should be fun. So we did that, and we did a 2-3-3 conference that our district put on. That was really good to learn about leadership skills.
Do you all think that you will continue clubs and extracurriculars on into college and adulthood?
Absolutely, especially with the FFA. Just being able to be an alumni member one day so that we can help encourage the next generation of FFA members to stick with it, because it really is worth it. 100%.
Do you guys have aspirations in continuing your growth in the agriculture industry?
Yes, sir. So my plan after high school is to get into a major university and to get my bachelor's in the animal science program, and then continue on with a master's degree And one of the main careers that I've been looking at is being a large animal vet. And that only came about because of FFA. So
Very cool.
What about you, Kylah?
I definitely know I want to go into the ag field, the agriculture field, but I don't know the actual field yet.
Right.
Y'all do a lot of horse stuff, is that right?
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. We actually just finished horse judging practice because our second prelim is next weekend. So we've been
Oh,
practicing.
Good luck. Good luck.
I almost, it's great to lay out a good plan going forward from high school, right? But as the fighter,
Sure to have.
as a fighter, yeah, well, as the fighter Mike Tyson used to love to say is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So every plan is great till it meets contact. So knowing what
And you
field.
know what the good book says, girls, we have a plan and he
Yeah.
directs our steps.
That's right. But having a good direction. So both are great executable ideas, right? I love Jadie that you have it almost step by step, and I love Kylah that the direction is there, but you're giving yourself the freedom to mold it into what you want it to be down the road. I think both of those are very important and very, very valuable for your future. You guys are both obviously bright and have grown up a lot in FFA. And I just wanted to say thank you for giving us your valuable time today, to me and Miss Laura, in sharing with us all the knowledge that you've learned through such a wonderful organization. So with that, we'll close. I'm Noah Walker with All Things Visual Marketing, and I've been joined in studio by the fearless leader of the Florida Peanut Federation, Laura Fowler-Goss, as well as two incredibly bright and very capable young ladies in Jadie Driggers and Kylah Wright of the Dixie County High FFA chapter. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.